After 3 times, I finally got my mic working.
Yes,
3 times, guys.
Third
3
start
times.
to the show.
It's not my fault, but hey, just, you know.
Bo didn't want to turn his mic on. There wasn't a battery in it.
But one of them was not his fault.
Yeah.
The other one was his fault.
All I know is we do this every week.
Every week.
But when you turn the little switch, you should probably look yourself and see if the light goes on.
My hip,
but just see if the light goes on.
And there's a piece of fat right on my coming on the side.
Well, that's a little too.
It pushes the button off. There,
TMI.
Too much information.
TMI.
Go take care of that. All right, well, it's good to have everyone back in the
nice
studio.
to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. Not talking to you through some lens in a hotel room somewhere.
Nice to be home.
Cunio's off of paternity leave or whatever.
He's getting a lot of time off.
Trying to have as many kids as possible.
Taking a lot of time off, Cunio.
You get like 3 weeks or 4 months.
If you have 3 kids in 3 years, you may not have to work for 5 years after that.
You know what the best thing about Cunio is?
What?
So he's on his vacation. I know we're looking for one. We're searching. It's like waiting for Godot.
There you go.
We're searching. So he's on vacation, and I'm getting hey, did you see that save? Great save by Bobrovsky. And what? I'm like, dude, aren't you on vacation? He goes, my text works when I'm on vacation.
Oh, are we not friends?
Are
we not friends? Can I only communicate?
I never get a text from.
We're great friends.
I never get a text from Cunio.
Because all he does is butt dial me all the time. I get like a butt dial a week from this guy.
Do you figure it's nothing important?
Yes, because I'll call him and be like, hey, what do you want?
Because one time he's going to want something and say, what a chance.
I got a lot of friends like that, Mike, so you're not the Lone Ranger on that. Technology's not my friend, let's put it that way.
All right, so we're all back, also back in the rotation for the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero. It's been nice to have him back since coming back last 4 games, month of April here.
What do you have, back spasms?
Ankle injury.
Oh, who has back spasms?
A little different.
Someone else. Was it?
You do, probably.
No, not me. One of them had back spasms for a month.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
For a month.
Those back spasms are tough.
Duncan was carrying that team.
I've never heard of anybody having back spasms for a month.
No?
No.
Well,
no, week.
So you're questioning is.
I'm just saying what I'm saying.
We're going a month plus. All right, let's talk about Tyler Hero for a second because I find it interesting. Last year they really didn't have him in the playoffs at all, except for 1 game in that run to the finals. Now they have him back. He's proven that he is still, in fact, a bucket. But I think fans have a weird relationship with Tyler. They're not sure about him because he's always been the guy in the trade scenarios out there. So it's always been kind of 1 foot out, 1 foot in with him. Do you think fans are now going to come around to the fact that, hey, we actually need him in this lineup, considering how rocky this season has been?
Well, I like my man B-Rad, you know, when he comes in and plays. He can shoot, but his problem is like these other guys.
You just wanted to say B-Rad, didn't you?
I just wanted to say B-Rad. I just wanted to say B-Rad. Malibu's most wanted. Very good mood, by the way. I can see where there's the trust isn't there because he's there, and it's like finding something to eat. It's like an ice cream cone you like it, and you're about to lick it, and it falls off, and you don't got to.
Hate when that happens.
You know, he plays a couple games, and then he's out, and so I can understand the trust factor with that.
But they need him.
I know.
Well, he's got first of all,
they need everybody right now.
They do need everybody. He's got to do it in the playoffs. Before the fan. You know, this is a franchise. This is not a, hey, let's try to make the playoffs and be competitive franchise. Pat Riley walked in the 90s. It's either you win the banner or you lose. There's winning and there's misery. That's the Pat Riley saying. So for fans, you know, that are used to that, you got to get it done in the playoffs. That's why you got Dwayne Wade and LeBron and all these guys in the history and Jimmy Butler. You know, in Heat history, those are the fans, those are the players, the fans gravitate to because they have done it when it matters. So I think once he does that, if he does that, then the fans take that step with him.
I'm glad you mentioned Jimmy Butler in this whole mix because obviously this season has not been fun to watch.
Right.
I mean, they're going to be in the play-in. By the time this airs, they're probably in the play-in. Is the Jimmy Butler window closing? So
let me ask you this, including Jimmy Butler. Are you confident they can do what they did last year?
No.
Yeah, I don't. Look, I'm concerned that they're even going to get out of this playoff round.
This play-in,
where they're at because the way they're, you know, if they had been like on a 5-game winning streak or 6-game, you know, then okay, but they're not. They're just you know, one night they look good, the next night they don't, and it's just so. And look how frustrated Spoelstra looks because all the different lineup changes and the uncertainty, and at some point you've got to get some way to mesh. And this team hasn't been able to mesh all year long. How are they going to do it when the playoffs come?
So on that note, Goldie, has the Heat maybe fear factor that the NBA has been experiencing the last 5-10 years? Do you think it's worn off? Do you think teams aren't necessarily looking down the standing saying like, ooh, am I going to get the Heat in the first round?
Nope.
Don't want that.
I think everyone.
You still think it's there?
If you were the Knicks, you want to play the Heat? Think the Cleveland Cavaliers?
No.
Orlando Magic? You think Milwaukee? With Doc Rivers and that terrible, do you think they want to play the Heat?
But we're talking about the Heat. We're talking about the Heat of last year. Not so much the Heat of this year.
I don't think any of those teams are interested in the Miami Heat. They will win in the play-in. They'll probably lose to Philly, but they're going to beat the Hawks, the Bulls, whatever. And they're probably going to get in. They'll probably play the Celtics. I don't think the Celtics are really afraid of them. The Boston Celtics would much rather play
anybody,
almost anybody, except probably for Giannis,
right?
Because you still don't want to see him as much as they've struggled.
Because there's history between those. Right. So any team that they're playing that has history against them in the East, it's going to be they're going to pay attention to it.
Jimmy Butler can turn it on. I still believe that. Be playoff. Maybe not for 6 or 7 games, but he's going to do it to you a couple of times.
Right.
And once you get late in the series, once you get
past
game 5,
you got to worry about Brunson there.
Brunson with the Knicks, excellent. Once you get past game 5, that's when the demons start going. That's still the Miami Heat on the other side.
It becomes a longer series than you want, and Spo, because in any series when you match up talent for talent, and then you go, all right, now let's go coach to coach. Spo's winning every single matchup. Maybe the exception would be Pop, but they're not playing in the West, so it doesn't matter.
But he's done a good job of when you get into a series, a 7-game series.
Right, the same opponent every night.
He gets the first 2 games, and they're doing this. So then all of a sudden, he's been an expert at putting the pieces where they need to be.
I hope they can win
in those 7-game series.
I hope they can win the play-in, the first game, so they can get the number 7 spot. That's my hope, because if they go up against Milwaukee, with all that controversy, I mean, the star gets the coach fired, Doc Rivers come. They've been, 500 since then?
Doc does not want
Doc's not interested in looking over there and seeing Eric Spoelstra and a motivated Jimmy Butler. And by the way, with them being where they are, now you have an opportunity maybe in the last game to rest Bam. He's looked a little bit tired lately and have them ready to go.
He's one of the few guys who's basically played all year. All right, we're going to keep the coach talk going. We're going to move over to Skip Schumacher from the Miami Marlins.
Nice start.
Go ahead, bud. I knew
some interesting contract developments happened this week. We're going to talk about it next.
You're just a mean man.
No, what are you, 0-9, 0-11 start? Come on.
0-162.
Game Changers is sponsored by your Volkswagen dealers of South Florida. Shop your 7-passenger favorites at VWFlorida.com.
Everybody's doing the fish. Yeah.
I like that.
Skip Schumacher.
It's like 20 years old, that song.
There you go. Skip Schumacher may not be doing the fish for very long.
No. He's kind of dangling that line right now. He's a little taut right now, I would think a little bit of that.
He's like a tarpon flipping off.
Just flipping off. You got to bend the rod tip down. Bow to the king.
Keep it up.
Bow to the king.
Tip up.
Not easy to catch a tarpon, not easy to keep Skip.
That's right. Skip's a great coach. Obviously, the Marlins are off to a terrible start. A lot of that has to do with pitching as well. Let's take the record at the moment and just put that off to the side, because I think more importantly, his contract issues have been a bigger deal than the record. So Kim Ng, she makes her exit. She did not want a president of baseball operations above her. She makes her exit because of that. The problem is she brought in Skip. Skip's not happy. She's gone. So the team, as the Herald's reporting, as a sign of good faith, said we'll void the 3rd-year option in your contract. That way you can explore other opportunities if you're not happy. If you're a Marlins fan, you got a good coach finally. How do you react to it?
It's the Marlins.
It's the Marlins.
Even no matter who the owner is, no matter who a GM, no matter who the president is, it's still the Marlins each and every year. It's been a constant like that. We had a little uptick last year, expecting a bigger uptick this year. And this is what we've got right now. And you got starting pitching that's not doing very well. You got your bullpen that is getting torched.
Because they got to start.
Torched all the time. Because instead of coming in after 5 innings, you got to come in after 3 or 4.
100%.
It's a cycle that, I'm afraid they're so far in the cycle that how do you dig yourself out?
Spend money
of this big a hole.
You spend money eventually.
But are they going? But I'm talking about this season.
This season.
This
season, the only decision they kind of, and it's you win 5 in a row. You have a good week and you're back. But it certainly looks like
11-7 or 12-7.
Right, you're still not even close to. They're going to have some decisions to make, and I hate to say it. Who do you want to get rid of? And who do you want to rebuild with? Like Jake Berger is going to be a valuable guy to some team. You're going to get rid of him already. In some ways, I give the owner credit because if someone doesn't want to be with your franchise, why do you want them? I understand that.
Right.
So, but the look just makes it seem like, and then you get off to the, it seems like the manager's got one foot out the door.
But
the season just started.
It's not even his fault, because if you look at the way that they structured that front office, there's no general manager at the time. It's Peter Bendix. He's running the show as the president, but their assistant GM is a former skipper, and Gabe Kapler, who's also a very analytical guy.
He's got a few other guys in there,
right? But the second they hired Kapler, in my mind, I'm thinking
that's the manager in waiting.
There's the manager.
You might be right.
But so if you void that year and give him the opportunity to go, where's he going to go? There's only so
great last year.
There's only
he was
so
great
many
last year.
There's only so many baseball teams with their 32 teams. There's only 32 managerial jobs, and you're going to give up one that you've got? I don't know, because you know what?
He'd have something in his pocket.
Again, while he picked there, he goes out, someone comes in, he never gets back in, he's scratching his head in 3 years going, geez, I shouldn't have done that.
I don't think he would leave without knowing
he had something to do. But,
and after his year last year.
Right.
But if this season keeps going like this, his ownership.
Bo, you could have Connie Mack in the dugout with this group. Do you agree? I mean, the manager can't pitch.
The pitching is so hurt.
Yeah.
And that's no one's fault. That happens.
No.
It's somebody's fault.
That's their fault, because forget Perez. They knew Sandy was out for the year. We talked about this before the season started.
Well, it's not his fault.
And they didn't have enough depth pitching. You knew guys that weren't supposed to be starters were going to start. And they didn't do anything to try to go out and improve that pitching staff, because it cost a lot of money to do so.
But they're not helping him, Skip.
That whole organization it has their toe in the water of why they're this bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to be accountable. Everybody, every single person that's making decisions, they've got to be accountable for what that team's doing.
I mean, you go into a season with that starting pitching staff, you knew they had no chance to win.
You have to score 10 runs a night.
Yeah.
And even when they are scoring runs, the bullpen.
Well, there's been 2 ones. They start at 5 runs, 4 runs.
They have the big leads.
Well,
that's why if you watch Skip in the post-game shows, what's he going to say? He goes, we got to get better production out of the bullpen. But the problem is your bullpen guys are starting.
They're worn out.
And then you're going 12, 13 deep. I mean, come on.
We got to take a quick break right now. We're going to get some goalie talk with the Panthers coming up
Goalie
next.
or Goldie?
Both.
There you go.
Welcome back to Game Changers. There's a lot of hot topics out there in sports this year, this week, whatever. It's busy.
Yeah.
But something caught our eye, Goldie, this
What's
week.
that?
We noticed that the Panthers signed a young goalie, like 21-year-old kid.
Okay.
What we didn't notice is how tall this guy is.
Unreal.
He's 6'8".
Yeah, I've seen him in person.
He signed Bam Adebayo.
Why did they get a big fat goalie?
Out of Dartmouth.
Cooper Black.
From out of Dartmouth. Yeah.
Talk to me about this
So he was
guy.
here for the developmental camp. Great uniforms.
6'8", 240. Wow.
That's why you take a shot. I mean, look, Stolarz is 6'6", 240.
Yeah, that's right.
If he can't play for the Panthers, he can play tight end for the Dolphins.
Or the Heat.
Well, I'd rather have him over there.
Or at the top of the list, he may be the 3rd starter for the Marlins.
There you go.
So, he's in line for all of our teams.
He can play with any team.
Hey, you take a shot.
6'8", 240, you can do anything
The
you
one
want.
interesting thing about the Panthers with these goalies is you got both Luongos.
Yeah.
Roberto, his brother Leo's in the AHL, and they got Rob Tal. They got like a goalie committee.
Yeah.
So they see something in this guy. Why not take a shot?
So let me ask you, from a height standpoint, those goalies, they're always down, squatting, and to have a goalie, I had that problem when I was playing linebacker. I'd have to get down to the level of the players. So he's got to go down an extra
both
6 inches. 6 inches more than the other goalies have.
Well,
to go down.
you look at Stolarz, who is 6'6", 240, so not much different.
Not much.
I've talked to him. It's taken a little while. He's 30 years of having this phenomenal year. He stays a little deeper in the net.
He makes some concessions.
And he stays much calmer. So whenever you see that puck on the ice around the net, he's always got the pad. He doesn't give up any goals.
Yeah.
That takes a while. But if you get a guy at 22 that's a free agent, got nothing to lose, why not roll the dice and sign the guy?
Stolarz had a nice assist this week. But it's just funny because I saw a picture.
Stoley the goal. By the way, the only goalie ever born in New Jersey.
Really?
Yes, in NHL. His Jersey got
much hockey in Jersey?
Not goalies.
There is now. It was funny though. There was a goalie.
They have a nice shore, though, Jersey Shore.
Beautiful.
This guy, he was
Good
like 6'2", and Cooper Black is just head and
shoulders. Hey,
shoulders
when you look at when the Panthers practice, and you got Bobrovsky in one net.
Yeah.
And Bobrovsky's not a big guy.
I want to be there for the night when he dresses out and they come out of the tunnel and you got this, and whoa.
But with the skates and the equipment,
this
guy looks like 7 feet, 280 pounds.
So you know what I would do is I'd put the shortest guy in front of him and the other shortest guy behind him, and then just push him out there.
All right, we have a problem with Inter Miami. Lionel Messi and the Herons, they lose this week in the Champions Cup quarterfinals to Monterrey.
That was a real cup, right? That was a real cup.
That was a real cup.
Whatever you think.
I like the made-up cup last year.
You don't like the CONCACAF Cup?
No, I like the CONCACAF Cup, but they were supposed to win it, and that's what you bought them for.
So they're out. But the good news for MLS is, especially for MLS teams, that we are seeing the Messi effect already, because it looks like there's reports that now the MLS can start restricting or loosening the restrictions on their roster moves. You go out and get more players, higher prices. Are you impressed with how quickly, Bo, the Messi effect is really kind of not just TV ratings, but the way the sport is operating?
So I really like this team. I've become a fan, and I like watching it, and because I think they play a very, very high level of soccer, because they brought all these guys, the best all those guys, Alba, all those guys they brought in have made them a more of an international team than just an MLS team. And so I'd like to see the rest of the MLS do that same thing, so that at some point the MLS can go compete in the Champions League and compete in the international level as well as the MLS, and not these little, I know the CONCACAF Cup, it's Northern and South America, so it's a pretty, but these other, like the little cup last year,
they created that thing.
They made that up
like the NBA in-season tournament.
But the other thing is, I don't know how they're going to manage the fans that want to come see Messi, when they don't know whether he's going to play or not. They went on the road a couple games. It was like disaster.
That's what you get when you buy a ticket in sports.
There you go.
I mean, you don't know if the guy.
NBA's like that now.
I mean, you get open Dolphin schedules announced. You get the first home game. Two might not play. We don't know that for a fact.
You don't know who's going to.
And the NBA is different because they just do it even if guys aren't hurt.
Right. They don't care.
They just sit. So that's a little different.
See you in the playoffs. All right. Still to come here on Game Changers, we're talking Roadhouse. Have you seen that movie? Yes. We're going to get into that.
Wow.
Coming up next with Bo's favorite Game Changers guest.
Oh, boy. Your buddy's going to be here.
Is back.
Woo. Emo's back.
Welcome back to Game Changers. We're going to wrap things up with everyone's favorite MMA insider. Is that what we're calling
him?
He's the only MMA insider I hear. I'm sorry, Jonan.
He weighs 118 pounds and he's trying to flex this.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys.
What's your weight? What's your weight class?
Slapshot. He brought his toys.
35. You don't look like you're like 115, man.
Put on the foil, baby.
I'm not.
You hide behind that leather jacket.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
You can't see that rip, man.
This does wonders, man.
Is this you?
This is real. This is me in another life. This is me in another life.
I'm not ready to call you the MMA insider here yet, but we'll call you our MMA reporter.
Okay.
How about that?
I'll take that.
MMA reporter. All right.
Works.
We got some MMA stuff we got to talk about.
Yes.
Because we're talking about the new movie Roadhouse.
Yes.
The new version.
Dalton.
Awesome. Yes.
Dalton.
With Conor McGregor.
Yes.
So here you go. You can be a film critic today too. You can add it. How was Conor McGregor's film debut going from MMA to Hollywood?
Well, I think Conor did a great job. I think Conor McGregor, listen, nails on point today always, courtesy of my girlfriend.
Switched it up for you, Bo. He changed them up for you, Bo.
Whoa.
I gotta say.
Let's go. Let's move on.
Okay. So Conor McGregor, I liked his.
What's that?
I liked his performance. I thought he was good. I mean, I think they just told him just to be Conor. Conor just walked in. I mean,
well, I tell you what I thought about it.
I think if you have Jake Gyllenhaal next to you, you've got Conor McGregor. I mean, you got major star power in that movie. You know what I mean? I think parts of it didn't really make too much sense. I thought it was kind of like.
I thought it was great.
It's a fun movie on a Saturday night.
Right.
It's a fun.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a part where he's just like explosion, swimming. He hijacks a boat. I'm like, what is going on?
First of all, I couldn't believe that they could make a cheesier movie than the first Roadhouse.
Yes.
Right. With who was it? Who was
Patrick Swayze.
With Patrick Swayze in it. Who thinks of Patrick Swayze as a tough guy?
That's what I'm saying.
But
trying to change his image. He was changing his image.
Are you going to fight Patrick Swayze? I wouldn't.
I would.
He was trying to turn around from when he was in Ghost.
I get it.
He had that sweet hair, baby. He had that sweet hair.
Yeah, I get it. But
you know all about that.
But this was good. Post Malone was in it, all different. You didn't know what was going to pop up next. But it was a bad movie. A bad movie. But I'll watch it another 5 times, I guarantee you.
Definitely worth the watch.
Worth the watch.
All right, let's talk a little MMA here. All right, we got UFC 300 coming up. No Conor. We thought this might be the return of Conor. So why should we watch this one?
Well, this was supposed to be Return of the Mac, right? Yeah. And unfortunately, it wasn't, because Conor needs to test, and he's like 200 pounds right now. So to cut to 155, to cut to 155 would be a hard.
How long is it going to wait? How long is he going to have to wait?
I think in the summer we might have
about 4 or 5 months he'll be ready to test.
But headlining the card, we have Alex Poatan Pereira. He is a guy who was 185-pound champion. Then he lost his title. Decided, you know what?
That's what I
I'm going to fight at 205. Became the 205 champion. He's now fighting Jamal Hill to headline the card. This is a guy who's 6'4". Yeah. His opponent, fun fact, was a almost NBA draft pick. He decided, you know what?
There you go.
He said, no, but you know, he decided, I'm going to go fight instead. So he became an MMA fighter instead. Alex Pereira, the headliner of the card, has 10 MMA fights, and in those 10 has knocked out like, I think 3 or 4 champions.
So still a good card.
It's going to be amazing.
So can I change a little bit? Can I ask you a question? MMA. I read recently Ronda Rousey. She's promoting herself as the greatest woman fighter of all time.
Yeah.
She's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Her record is 12-2.
Yes.
Or 12-3.
Yes.
How is that a Hall of Fame career? And how do you fought 15 fights? And why do you think with 15 fights, when you lost 3 of them, that you're the best fighter in the world?
I think she was the first. She was. I don't think
12-3 in your Hall of Famer. Come on, man.
She was a female athlete that brought women's MMA to MMA.
Well, she was the original.
She was a Strikeforce signee.
So she should probably be in like the influencer part of the Hall of Fame, not as a fighter.
I think she's a Hall of Famer, not for her skill set, but for her influence.
For what she's done for
the game.
Exactly.
Which is important.
No.
By the way, I'm absolutely clipping that little whatever that was you just did. And the next time you're on, I'm switching with Bo.
Right, you want them next to each other.
And you're going to paint Bo's nails.
Yes, I'm down.
Here we go.
Hey,
so next week,
that would be a real game changer.
You guys wait around for that, because it ain't going to happen.
Next week on Game Changers.
Unless he does them in pink.
I will say this. Before we wrap.
We got to wrap. Go ahead.
Pink the singer?
Before we wrap, y'all did me dirty last episode by putting me next to Mike. I look like I was 5 feet tall.
You are 5 feet tall.
You want to stand up?
Come on, man.
Jonan, you got to be over. I love you, but.
And the only reason you're 5 feet tall is because you go from the top of the hair. There's about an inch and a half of hair there.
No more listening. That's the show.
What is this, Fletch, the movie?
Game Changers is over.
Let's back him up against Bruno Mars.
4'11" with the front.
Get the paint. Get the paint. We're going to do him next time.
Just touch him up a little.
Thank you, guys.